back to Shock's Arcade Lounge. Yeah, it's been quite a while since I basically even did anything with this channel, but in case you're wondering if, this ever gets posted, so why did I posted a blog version of Combo Breaker and then there's the podcast one? Well, I feel like if I want to really talk in definition about my experience in Combo Breaker, I feel like this is the best way to do it. So I'll say it straight and go straight to the point with this one. My experience with Combo Breaker was a genuine fun one. So, first day of also being at Chicago. Actually, it was the first time being at Chicago, and of course, being for the very first time at Combo Breaker were really great experiences. So, I'll go with Combo Breaker first, and then I'll go with something at the very end. So, I was able to enjoy much of the venue at Combo Breaker. It's a little bit smaller than Evo, but I honestly preferred this compared to Evo itself. And many people that I have interacted with have pretty much said the same thing. They feel like the vibes are much better here, and I couldn't agree more. It's also a lot easier to find, food, because like when you want to go from the venue itself and you want to go get something to eat, like you want to go to this Korean chicken place that me, Seven Force, and Ron himself, a couple of others as well, went to eat at. There's like a Wendy's nearby, there's like a Walgreens, and at the hotel that I was staying, it wasn't actually at the Renaissance, it was actually at the Quality Inn. And I was nearby the Woodfield Mall, and I was also nearby a Target. So this was easy for me to kind of just get to where I need to be, and vice versa. And the good thing is that the options of transportation were either taking an Uber, taking a bus, which I did use a couple of times, which helped me greatly. And of course, I had a homie that came from Kentucky, aka Beautiful Gamer, to spend time with me. So kudos to him for coming by to spending time with us, even if it was just like for a couple of days. So I appreciate that. Aside of that, I genuinely feel that the venue itself definitely feels like it's more welcoming. There's a lot of things you can do. It's easier to find where you need to go, like Artist Alley. If you're looking for something specific in Artist Alley, or to bring your own controller area, it was very easy to find. You're also like where your bracket is going to be, like the area of where you're playing your game. So like, for example, if I'm looking for my Tekken bracket for Tekken 8, I was able to find that. I was able to find like the arcade room. Everything straight up is exactly where it needs to be, and you never get lost. And that's just me coming into the Renaissance by, just traveling around with me and my brother. So it was a lot easier to navigate, so thank goodness for that. I heard that there was a mystery game tournament thing, and I would like to try that at some point. Although, because it's a mystery game tournament, that means it could be pretty much anything. So I'm going to have to practice for any kind of game for next year if that's the case. I also did pretty well with my, honestly, I did pretty well with Tekken 8 of all things, because I actually did pretty well. I got myself another Chipotle card, and I used it on the same day because I genuinely needed to eat. I didn't do so well this time with KI compared to Evo, but I'm not gonna lie, the genuine last time that I ever played KI was literally at that Evo of last year. So yes, the last time that I played Killer Instinct was technically within that one time at Evo. And I had to get a new controller because the one that I had was basically all messed up and everything. And I was generally surprised that, I somewhat was still able to pass through for 33rd, despite that it could be, no, I think it was, I forgot exactly the placement that I was in. But I know that I could genuinely do better. So I'm going to actually come back to Combo Breaker to redeem myself on that one. And I gotta get myself an Xbox at some point, because I only have a PS5, but I'm working on that. Let's see. The arcade room was actually pretty good. There was a lot of games that I was able to enjoy playing. Aside from my brackets, I was able to have a 5 win streak in Ultra Street Fighter 4, a decent win streak in the arcade version of, well, anyway, what I mean to say is like the arcade cabinet that they share with the share play with Street Fighter Third Strike. Sonic the Fighters was a hilarious time. I did some karaoke, I had some fun. And yeah, I liked it. This is why I genuinely believe Combo Breaker was a lot more better. I will say, however, though, for my brother's behalf, I did see that they are using the monitors that they use for Evo, and I gotta be honest, they really need to change that. Now, thankfully for me, that never seemed to be the issue, but I did hear that people were also complaining about that, and I genuinely think we need monitors that are not Sony related. This isn't Evo where it's Sony's sponsor. I could be wrong, I could be misinformed, or I could be been told very little about this, but I do feel like there needs to be at least a bit of changes here and there, especially when it comes to like the setups for what they have, because there needs to be just some changes, and that's just ridiculous. That is my only nitpick with this, and that's mainly it. So outside of Combo Breaker, what did I do? Well, on Thursday when I went to go pick up my badge, me and my friend Beautiful Gamer, my brother, and a couple of dudes, we went into the this new thing that they put next door where they had like indoor go-karting. Some people were saying it was like $95 for all of that experience. Well, yes, but technically no. So technically, to do an indoor race, just one, is $30. And I'll keep it simple. The $95 thing that I heard was mostly because it was a bundle. If you wanted to do it like with a big group or a small amount of people that you're going to do that all together. And when it comes to the racing part itself, like the indoor race, there is two levels that anybody can get into. There's the beginner one, the green one, well, that's what they call it, the green one, the yellow one, intermediate. But the red one, or the advanced one, it goes to 30 to 40 miles per hour, but you do need a driver's license for that. So if you really want to experience that, you truly need to know how to drive. Like, that's exactly what they will tell you. And you need to provide that if you want to basically go into it. There was also a 7D theater thing or something like that. I didn't really do that with the rest of my crew. I kind of just went with, you know, with the race thing, and then after that we just head back to, you know, hang out and go get something to eat. Also, a good thing, a convenient thing about it is that there was an IHOP that was very close by, and kudos for a 24-hour IHOP. That was really, really good. Also, I was able to celebrate my mother's birthday as well. I brought my mom alongside to visit Chicago for the first time. She got to meet a majority of the community there. She met some people, and well, not at Combo Breaker, but around Chicago. She's like also like me, a traveling a wanderer, and she was able to enjoy a birthday with me and my friends. We went to celebrate with her in IHOP, and that was really awesome. I also like to mention that it was very easy for me to get to places like, if I wanted to go to like where I stationed at was like to the mall. It was like literally 8 minutes by walking, so that's pretty good. There's a Target that was nearby. There was a Whole Foods. The bus station for me to get to Combo Breaker was also pretty easy. Surprisingly, not that packed if you're going early. Sometimes it can be if you're like, you know, going at certain times, but I never really had a problem with it, and that was pretty good, all things considered. What else? Oh, right. And then the main highlight of this trip was going to Galloping Ghost Arcade. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I had a genuinely fun time going here than watching Top 8 of Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6. Don't get me wrong, I did this before with Evo and everything, but I feel like if you're gonna come to a place like Chicago, where you know that this place itself is like one of the legendary arcades, and then you don't have that much time to go for it, I might as well go for that, because no disrespect, like Vegas was like, I was going to stay there because I ain't gonna basically just, you know, put my ass out there burning and then melting to pieces. But at least in Chicago, there's a lot of things you can do, which thankfully I made the most out of this trip. With Galloping Ghost Arcade, there was like everything there. There was like an F-Zero machine. There was a Final Fight Revenge. Me and Force got a chance to play that. There was KOF 11. There was KOF 2002. There was freaking Virtual Fighter 4 Evolution. The first Virtual Fighter. All of the Street Fighter. Like, there was even a version for Street Fighter 6 and 5 in the arcade cabinet. I didn't get a chance to play that because I would have loved to see if Cody was in that version. If not, oh well, whatever. And they even had Cannon Spike. That was crazy to me that they had Cannon Spike, where you go around as Charlie, or in this case Nash, Cammy with skates, Mega Man. I was like blown away of how much this place even had. Like, I was wearing my Terry Bogard hat for that because I wanted to do the, hey, let's play some games. Come on, come on. Oh my god. But yes, the main highlight of this trip for me was really enjoying Galloping Ghost Arcade. I went with my brother, Seven Force, Chrome, a couple of other people that I got to meet, and it was just genuinely a lot of fun. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention during Combo Breaker was that I went in just to kind of like see what was it like after hours, and I genuinely had a really good time watching people play Lucky Gruber. So also shout out to Neo Hana for making a Hatsune Miku business card with Geese's face on it. That is fucking legendary. I'm gonna be honest with that one. That's like legendary itself. Yeah, but Combo Breaker is what it's at. I'm willing to consider going back to more for this than Evo. I'm gonna be dead ass super honest with that one because I liked Evo and I love the times that I put a lot into it, being able to travel to Vegas. But I'm gonna be saying it straight from someone who's been going there for 3 years straight, and now this is my alternative. Why is it that I'm alternating with why is my alternative combo breaker? I'll say it straight. Money, weather, and most importantly, it's just not workable anymore for me. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, when I went to Vegas last time, it felt so empty and dry. Not of just, I guess like the best way to describe it is that it generally feels like a ghost town the last time I went there. Then many people went out to party and celebrate, and it feels like I'm just walking in an empty place where, anything could kind of just be like, oh, that's just sad to look at. It feels so lifeless, if I'm going to be honest with you. I love you, Vegas, and all. I love you, but after 3 years of going from it when having a certain moment and it's kind of like slowing down and I'm like, it's now becoming empty, I genuinely feel like I need to go somewhere different. And that's why I went to Combo Breaker. And Combo Breaker felt like a genuine great experience. Would there be other FGC big locals like this I'll go in the future? I definitely would. I definitely would go back to it in the future for Combo Breaker. But if there was like another place to go for it, I would absolutely look around and see what I can find. I'm hoping to find something around my area in New Jersey and New York, but I heard East Coast Throwdown was basically out of commission, so sadly, there is that. I did, however, was told by a few people, including Babe Ruthless, that CEO is actually pretty good as well. If I go to it, that probably might be something that I will do next year, because this year I only was able to go for one due to a lot of like personal stuff that's been happening. And I think it'd just be better. Oh yeah, I also remember like an old friend of mine, I think my old friend Kodak, he also told me that there's like Frosting Faustings, I believe, there as well. I believe he told me he only went to spectate and it was a pretty good place as well. I may go to some areas that are basically more like grassroots locations only, so there's that. But yeah, Combo Breaker was a really great experience. I definitely would like to go back again. And I know that this is technically the weird-ass way of me relaunching this channel. But yeah, Shock's Arcade Lounge is back. A couple of announcements before I conclude this. I am going to be bringing in a guest that I was able to interact during my time at Combo Breaker, who genuinely was very interested in joining into the content creator spotlight. Hoping that I at least get a couple of more into this idea, and then after that I'm going to conclude the series until like I start speaking to other people who I'm interested in putting this kind of thing. And finally, this channel is going to go through mostly solo podcasting. It would take once in a while some collab podcasting with some people that I intend to bring in. Some from the Neon City Warriors and some that are FGC related. And as for the main flow of this thing, well, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's it for today. Welcome back to Shock's Arcade Lounge, and Combo Breaker, you've been nice to me. Until then, this is Shock Roller going offline. Also, shout outs to Sanashi for creating that tagline, the Shock Roller Online. Until then, y'all, take care.